What is up, Fanatics? It's 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means another episode of Home Theater Fanatics Live. Tonight is episode 139, and we have a guest tonight that represents a company and brand that's near and dear to my heart via the way of my backside, I suppose. It's Todd from RowOne. And if you look at the screen, you can kind of guess the product that they sell. And first, Todd, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jiles. Great to be here. Thanks for inviting RowOne to be a part of Home Theater Fanatics and your great program.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And, you know, the reason I said what I said before is I've told people this many times. And when people come to me and they say, Jiles, what is the most important aspect of my home theater? What is the thing that I have to get right, or everything else doesn't matter? And, you know, everybody else has, you know, oh, it's got to be the screen, or you got to have big subwoofers, or whatever. For me, the most important item, bar none, the one is the seating.
Absolutely.
Without the right seating, then I can't sit through the movie. I can't enjoy it. Right. If I can't get into the right recline, and I can't get my head at the right angle and feel comfortable and power at my phone and all, it's weird the things that I need to watch a movie these days. But it doesn't work for me. So I'm super excited to have you on the show to talk about seating, because seating is, you know, something that I think it is for some people overlooked. And it just creates a really poor experience for them when it could be so much better.
Absolutely. Yeah. If the magic isn't there when you sit in the seat, it's going to be you're going to have a tough time recreating that theater experience that people know and love.
Right. Well, they can create that really bad theater experience where they're like, oh, it's one of those flip up chairs, or oh, it's killing me. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about who you are and what RowOne is.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Todd Gertis, been in the consumer electronics industry in a variety of roles, maybe a little bit different than what your listeners have come to know over the past couple of years. 25 plus years in the consumer electronics industry. Awesome. Started out looking at residential construction, believe it or not, and looking at the custom installers and consumer electronics retailers, and realized, you know, there's so much complexity in this, we can make it simple. And so we really focused on being able to early on adopt these consumer electronics packages for consumers when they go and build a home, because we noticed that there was not a lot of tech going into homes, but there was a lot of really cool, fun, innovative features that were available to consumers, just not being offered to them in their selections process, you know, when they did their plumbing and their heating and their windows and their countertops. And so we looked at that, and we really had a fun time working with consumers for almost 10 years. And then moved from that standpoint, moved to helping manufacturers get to know consumers, and working with a startup brand called iRule that made a very early on consumer remote interface, and then went on to help some of the different associations grow with their manufacturers and connect with consumers. So it's kind of been this building. And in that process, I found RowOne as a brand. And so went to work for the original founder of RowOne as sales and marketing director. And long story short, that led me to in January of 2020, right before the pandemic launched, right? You know, hey, let's acquire RowOne. Let's reinvent RowOne as a brand in the marketplace, and it ended up being an awesome blessing. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. So Joey Peacock, he works for Indie Audio Labs, and they do Acurus and Aragon. He says, for those that don't know, Todd is the big dog. So no need to be humble with us. You're the boss.
I'm the boss. Yeah. But I just love, I love consumer electronics. I love consumers. I love talking with people about this wonderful field because it's fun. And that really is what the motto of RowOne is, kind of segueing into who is RowOne, why RowOne. We're a passionate company that loves creating affordable, reliable, luxury feel seating for home theaters and for open media rooms and bonus rooms. And that's what we focus on, is listening to consumers, getting their feedback, making sure that it's a surprise and delight when they sit in our seats and enjoy the experience. That's what home theater is supposed to be all about.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. And I really can't reiterate enough how important the seating is. I mean, everything from the obvious items, which are the comfort, right? Because you want to be comfortable, but when you walk into a room, what do you see? And there's a big screen on the wall, right? And those all look pretty much the same. They'll be in all but the most expensive theaters, there'll be four walls, a ceiling, and a floor, and there'll be some carpet, right? And you might have some sound treatments on the walls, and maybe you see a speaker sticking out here or there. Now, of course, then you get into the $1 million theaters, and they're different with vaulted arch ceilings and frescoes, and that's different. But the item that really stands out the most is the seating, right? So the aesthetics there, the look of it, it sets the tone for the room. It's important in so many ways that I think people don't really pay enough attention to, especially for folks that are building their first theater, right? They're like, I've talked to people and they're like, well, I'll just use a sofa from the living room. I'm like, oh, come on, you got to put some budget in for this, because you're gonna be hating life if you sit down and you're not reclined, and it's all bad.
Right. And like when you think about the pandemic, when it was kind of like the bonus that we didn't know in some ways, because people were at home, right? We couldn't go anywhere, and we were in those sofas, and we were looking at what manufacturers were offering and finding, there was certainly, to your point, the availability of high-end theater seating, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $8,000 a chair. But where was that reliability? Where was that high quality performance that was affordable? And we really felt that there was an opportunity to offer something to consumers that they would enjoy. And it certainly worked out really, really nice. And we're so appreciative of that.
Right. It's interesting because, as you say that, and I think back over the last year and a half, I can't remember another year where I clocked as many hours in my theater or in my office, for that matter. Since I don't know if I did a short stint where I worked from home about 12 years ago, and I was at home a lot at that point. But since then, this is the most time that I've ever spent in my seating, and it was my theater seating, and then my Aeron Herman Miller, baby. This thing's like 14 years old and still going. One of the best investments I've ever made in a chair. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And, I think the world has shifted fundamentally, right, for a number of people. Sure, there are a lot of frontline workers, retail, first responders, people that interact with the public. Those jobs will never change. But there's a whole segment of employment that has went away from the office and will never go back.
Right. Yeah. And when we talk a little bit about our new chair, the Cortez, a little bit later, we're going to talk about how that fact came into play when it came to thinking about the next generation home entertainment, home theater seat. So we'll go into that as a little segue surprise for your listeners.
Oh, right on. So let's just take a second here, call out some folks. Hi-Fi Haven's with us. Thanks for coming back to the show every week. I appreciate it. Good to see you out there. My Mail is here. Joey Peacock is back with us. Draw the Line 35 is with us, and there's a whole bunch of folks that haven't made any comments out there watching as well. So if you're out there and you have a comment, don't be shy. We love the comments. Make sure to drop those in. And if you have any questions, let us know, and we'll get to those ASAP. I think now, though, is a good time to talk about exactly what RowOne's product mix looks like, and I'm also curious, and this is a little off topic, and let me know if it's appropriate, but I'm curious to understand how you guys have been dealing with sourcing materials and that kind of stuff, and being able to meet customer demand, because it's so hard right now. We were talking before the show, and I wanted to buy a Nintendo Switch for my kids, the new OLED version. Nope, none left, and none coming before Christmas. So maybe I'll pull up the website, and maybe we can go through that, and you can tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah, and as you kind of pull that up, we'll basically let the viewers know that we've got one collection of chairs that we call RowOne Direct Collection, and within that focus and passion of affordability with luxury features. I won't go through all of the features with each model, but I will go through and just kind of maybe talk a little bit about a specific niche feature that is unique to each of our chair styles. And one of them just happened behind us, where the base rail lighting switched off, because after 3 minutes, it is an automatic shut off, and there goes the other one. So see, I didn't even plan that segue.
No, that's awesome, because I love LED lights on chairs, but I also find them annoying, and I hate them in the long term, right? So it's nice when you sit down, but then everybody's like, "Where's the button?" and blah blah blah. They turn off automatically. I wish my chairs did that.
It's the little things, and I think that's what makes us fun, right?
It's the little things.
So, talking about the Galaxy 2, this is our entry-level piece. It starts out at $930 a chair, availability to consumers. The Galaxy 2, what's unique about that, a lot of times when you get in that center seat, and it's an armless seat, if we're doing a configuration that's a sofa, the problem is it doesn't function. And so what's unique about RowOne and our Galaxy One design, and this is true of all of our center seats when you do a sofa configuration, is that you just slide your hand down between those cushions, and you still have your power recline, your USB charging port. It's all there. You don't lose any of that functionality like you do in a typical home entertainment sofa that might be going into a media room. So we have all of that. We don't lose any functionality on any of our armless versions of our chairs. So
that brings up a good point, because I remember back in my younger neophyte days when I would go to one of these furniture stores to look at home theater seating, and you're absolutely right. The left and right would recline, and the center was stuck.
Right.
And I always thought that was so, I don't want to be mean, but kind of worthless,
Right.
It's like a waste, right? What about the middle person?
Who wants to be that person that gets stuck in that seat? Well, why do you get, all the bonuses? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So that's a unique feature about Galaxy 2. And then we step up to the Prestige chair. And this takes us into top grain leather. You're at a retail point of $13.75 per chair. And the unique feature about this, in addition to storage arms, lighted base rail, and lighted cup holder, is that tray table, believe it or not. The good old tray table. But what's unique, you can kind of partially see in the background, I've got the tray table there. And you'll notice where the glass is positioned. It's literally, we designed that so that the glass sits directly above the post. So I can kind of point to my finger there, okay? Right? And so it seems like a little thing, but what we found out from research was essentially that, when the kids go by, or they get up and they go to refill the popcorn, you bump that tray table and the drink goes flying, right? And so what's nice about this is, with that glass being centered directly above that post on that tray table, that glass isn't going to move because it's turning, but it's remaining fixed.
Now, does that mean, if you look at the tray table, is there the little indentation where you put your cup at, and that's right above the pivot point?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. See that you're right. It is the little things, because I've had seats from 2 other companies and neither one of them had that feature. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and we put a matte finish on it instead of the glass, traditional glossy where everything slides. It's a matte finish, so it's going to have some natural sticky or tackiness. So that's a unique feature about the Prestige chair. And then we go up to the Revolution chair. And to your point about those base rail lights, people love them, but when you get in a theater room, okay, when you get into the theater room, you get into that comfortable position, in addition to the power recline and power headrest, we add 2 unique features, and one of them is dimmable base rail lighting. So you turn it on, but then to prevent that light bleed issue onto the screen, you can hit that light bulb button 2 more times and dim it a third, another third. So you get the purpose, you get the safety aspect of having lighting in case somebody wants to go up and refill the popcorn, but you don't get the light bleed design loss that typically happens with other, manufacturers' base rail lighting.
Yeah.
And then,
so the seats I have today, when you turn the lights on, they're just, I don't know, it's like flashlights down there or something. It's like you turn the lights on the room, they're so bright, which is, I get it's good when you're not watching a movie, but if you wanted any kind of, dim ambient light, it's not super functional.
Right. Correct. Right. Yeah. And then, and when you think about the screen sizes that are changing and the choices consumers have between, before it was, only projection screen, right? But now there's 85, 100 inch, 120, 130 inch TVs that are taking place in theater rooms, as well as an option to consumers. And that glass surface still reflects that light really poorly. So the other unique feature about the Revolution is the addition of memory, king and queen memory buttons. How many years have our cars had memory buttons available to them? And this chair also has that. And you get all of this feature and innovation for the same $1,375 per seat that you had in the Prestige. And then the newest chair, Cortez. So we've got a little treat for the listeners here tonight. You'll go down. Yeah. So this is the compilation, thanks to consumers like your listeners giving us feedback over the past year. And so we're proud to talk about the launch of the brand new RowOne Cortez chair. And this chair is top grain leather seating, and your listeners are the first to see these pre-production 2-chair row images. And basically we addressed 4 basic things here. And when we talk about the price, we talked about top grain leather. One of the things that consumers asked us to do is, instead of just having this cut-in power headrest, can you make that full top piece full power headrest?
Right. So all the way across from one side to the other, not just a little piece in the middle.
Correct. Yes. Right. Number 2, there's so many cool things that theater designers are doing with LED and colored lighting. And so you'll notice on screen that base rail lighting and cup holder, there's a green, there's a red. So you have RGB 6 color choices to match with that super cool LED design elements that a lot of home theater aficionados are doing now. It's not just the standard blue choice anymore. And then a work from home thing. We talked a lot about work from home, people working from home. We found a number of people that wanted all of the wonderful features of a recliner, okay? And you look now into that storage arm, and it's kind of hard to see, but you're like, is that a power cord? It is. We are the first to put 110 power into the 2-arm chairs for Cortez. So now you can not only charge those gaming controllers and your phones and your tablets using the USB charging, but if you are working from home, you can also charge that laptop device if it's in a theater, you could pop the popcorn fresher than anyone else because you could literally pop it in your lap, right? So
That's funny.
right. So
I love that.
and this was all because of viewers like your viewers, giving us feedback. I'm a big believer in how can we innovate, and that really comes from consumer feedback. And so the last little bit I'll leave your viewers with is, we're always looking for ways to appeal to more consumers. And one of the things that we found is with the female demographic, when you sit in the chairs, like the feet are like hanging off the ground, right? You can't touch your feet, and people like their feet to be able to touch the ground. And so what we did with Cortez is we took that feedback and we cut the seat lower to the ground. So the height from the seat, or from the ground to the seat base, and then that distance from the front of the seat to the seat back have both been cut. And so we're working on that, and we did that specifically to appeal to the female demographic.
That's cool. And to go back to the point about the normal wall power inside the arm there, that's really cool, because I always find myself in the theater with my laptop, with my microphones, running REW to measure speakers or subs or whatnot. And invariably, I can't reach one of the wall plugs for my laptop, and I run out of power, and it's super annoying. It's the small things.
It's the little things in life, let's make it happen.
Oh, that's really, man, I love it. All right. What colors is the Cortez going to come in? Because that's really, really cool.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about colors as we, kind of segue in a little bit, but, Galaxy 2 entry level black only. But again, trying to appeal to that female demographic, we introduced Prestige, has black, has a brown and a light gray. Mm-hmm. The Revolution has black and dark gray, and then the Cortez will have black and then a light gray color available option to consumers. And I forgot to mention the price on that, $16.95 for top grain leather with all of those innovative features available. And it does have the 3-step dimmable capability like Revolution does as well. Right.
So I'm going to put in my request now for version 2 of some set of seating, to have it where I can interface with my home automation on my home theater control system, so that when I push play on the remote, mm-hmm. it'll spin up my movie in Kaleidoscape. It will dim my lights. It'll dim the seating lights as well, right? So you have to have some kind of controller in an RS-232 or something. So that's my request. That's the next level. Maybe you can do an upgrade module. Also, what I think would be really awesome, and I've not seen anyone do this yet, is to have a pre-designed and pre-integrated attachment point for transducers, butt shakers.
We, believe it or not, you can already do that with any RowOne seat.
Really? Is there a spot that's very apropos for attaching those?
So all you got to do is make sure that your transducer is being mounted to a variable frame. Mm-hmm. And if you have an adjustable frame, you have the 4 underneath the chair mounting points where you can just mount that adjustable frame, and you've got your transducer capability. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. We need a video of someone taking your chairs and attaching those very simply to your sofa. That's what we need. That would be awesome. No, that's cool, man. Yeah. You guys have. I'm trying to think of something that I need that you guys don't have. Now, one function that I've seen in other seats that I don't like is lumbar. I never actually always put my lumbar always to the least position. So that one to me is like a non-issue. You got your headrest, you got your power recline, you've dealt with the lights the right way, you've got the power, you can do your tray table, and it's cooler, and it's not shiny and reflecting light all over me, which I don't like.
Right.
The colors are fine. For the Cortez is leather, which I love. Yeah, and it's got 120-volt power in the armrest. Yeah, I'm coming up with other than the esoteric, crazy, let's add this to a home automation system, which I think nobody would really do anyway. Dude, that's awesome. And easy to add butt checkers too.
Yeah.
Man, okay. You've sold me. That's super cool. I love it.
Thanks, man. Well,
Yes.
and stay tuned. Hopefully your viewers appreciate these features, and we'll suggest some more ideas to you in the future and future episodes. We've already got 2 fun things on the drawing board for 2022, and just stay tuned. Maybe we'll be back again for a future episode.
I would absolutely love to have you back when it comes time for that. But so some of the comments, Hi-Fi Haven says the model behind you would be perfect for Hi-Fi Haven's small room. What I read into that is that he has multiple rooms. He's all like, I've got the big one covered for the small one, or at least one of my small ones. I need that.
Yeah.
And Draw the Line 35 says he knows it sounds crazy, but he prefers the look of the Galaxy 2. And he loves the higher end features on the other models though. Right. So no, I totally get it. The what is it? Let me show this back up again. Let me add it to the stream. There we go. We'll go back up home, and so you've got the Revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Revolution is the styling is it looks like it's at the multiple stitching with all the little pieces, right? And I know that's popular because if you look, the seat has like a U shape to it.
Correct.
And then your more traditional seats have I don't know, an upside down U shape, whatever that would be, kind of. And I'm kind of with 35 there on the just the styling of the Galaxy, and I like that. And if you look back at the Cortez, let me pull that one back up. That's checking my boxes because
Awesome.
it's got the styling that I prefer. It's like I'm not sitting in the cockpit of a car, right? Or
Right.
some kind of airplane or a Formula One racing car, and it's got to cup me and like reduce the G-force. It's like there's this comfortable seat that I'm in, right? And I can kind of spread out a little bit. So from my point of view, I think you knocked it out of the park with the design on the Cortez.
Thank you. And I mean, I think that leads up to some good points. How do you buy a seating? What have we learned in terms of what's important when it comes to choosing home theater seating or home entertainment seating?
Absolutely. You know what? You could do one of these shows. You're carrying the pacing along really well. I like it. So you're right. So it's time for the tech question of the week. And today, the tech question of the week with RowOne is, what should I think about and how do I choose the right seat for my room and for my use case?
Yeah. So, I mean, what we've learned, we think a lot of times we think about, well, is my room going to be 16:9 format? Is it going to be 2.4? What's my distance from the screen? How do I space it out? How should what if I have 2 rows? But what we have found before all of those things is that number 1 should be your style, your design, if you will, the curb appeal.
Sure.
When we
Absolutely.
buy our cars, when we buy our TVs, when we buy things, when we buy our phones, we think about the styling. What's the curb appeal of the product that we're going to be buying? And if it doesn't have that, if it doesn't connect with you from a styling standpoint, we're never going to get to the future things, right? The layouts, the configurations, the spacing within the room. And then the second thing that we found is color. Color is a big deal. Now, in a theater room, for the male demographic, black is wonderful. But what if you don't quite get your true dedicated theater room, and now it's a media room or multi-purpose, or it's your living room? Now, myself, I've got the black Prestige here showing the love seat configuration, but having color availability and choosing color is a really big deal in that decision. because you take the time to pick out the paint color of the walls. You're taking out the time to pick out the carpeting, the color of that carpeting. And more, we're seeing these LED lighting schemes happening. It used to be, you just had the starlight ceiling and it was one color, right? But then it became multicolor and we were like, ooh, So, but now there's so much going on with LED accent lighting and trays that are along the ceiling. And so, having the right color chair and color options in the base rail lighting and the cup holder have become really important as the feedback that we're getting from consumers. And then we go to feel. Now, feel, you're like, well, don't all chairs feel the same?
They don't.
They don't.
They
no.
don't.
And so when you look at it, we realized that, and when we thought about the chairs that we were bringing out, you're going to find two different things that apply to feel. Number one, is it leather or is it something else? That's number one. There's a large number of consumers that tell us, if it's not top grain leather, I'm not going to buy it. But then there's another whole segment of consumers that don't like that sticky feeling of top grain leather to their skin. And they're like, I need it to be fabric, but I want it to have a look and feel of leather. And so in our lineup, we've got all of those bases covered. You've got the Prestige and you have the new RowOne Cortez that are both top grain leather chairs with vinyl match on the sides and the back. And then you have the Galaxy 2 and the Revolution that have our unique leather air, which is a polyurethane fabric. It's breathable, it's durable, creates a totally different feel from top grain leather. The second part of feel is consumers think about beds, right? People like firm beds or they like plushy beds, or right there's that dynamic that comes into play when it comes out to picking our mattresses. Our chairs are no different, we found out. And so you've got the Prestige, which is plushy, cushy kind of feel. You sink in a little bit to it. But then with Galaxy 2 and with Revolution, it's more like memory foam, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
You hit it, it's almost like the chair sucks you in and it keeps you right there. And with Cortez, we're kind of playing with a little bit of a hybrid in between. And so feel has become a really interesting dynamic that we have learned from consumers. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, we get a lot of questions about reliability and warranty. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want to kind of finish up. Then they go into features. Does it have power headrest, power recline? I want to make sure it can charge all my devices. Does it have USB charging ports? And, as we went through, we talked about like the unique features, right, of each of the models, just so that it doesn't become generic in that. But those features are super important. And then what's unique and what's important is configuration. Are you limited to, we talked about the furniture stores, you go in and, well, there's your sofa. Well, what if I want a 4-chair sofa? Or there's your drop down table with a storage device. Well, what if I want a row of 6 chairs? What if my room size is 20 by 40, right? And I can fit not just that standard 3-chair row. And so do you have the configuration available? And then, and only then, do we start to get into, does it fit? So there was like 6 things that we found consumers are asking us before they get to that, okay, now I've got, here's the dimensions of my room. I want to have this many rows. How wide are the seats? Will they fit into the space that I have? What's the distance I should have from my screen to the start of my front row? What if I have a second row? How tall should that riser be? Those types of questions. So I think that might be a little bit different than what people have traditionally thought about when it comes to, how do I choose, or how do I make my selection? But what we've learned from consumers are these are all the boxes that are getting checked off before we get into that technical design part of it.
Right on. And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, the fit, the finish, the aesthetics, especially the feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
That all makes a lot of sense. When it comes down to the sizing though, and you get to that point, can people work with you guys to figure that out, or how do they have to guess, or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They can work with us. We're happy to help. And we wanted to do a special kind of bonus tonight for all the listeners. We're already seeing Black Friday ads, right?
It's here.
It's here. So we've decided tonight to officially offer I'm calling it a holiday treat, because I didn't know whether or not to do Halloween or Black Friday or Christmas, or where do I go now, because it's here already. So we're calling it a holiday treat for all your viewers. So if you would please, starting tomorrow, all the way through,
not right now, tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow, all the way through Black Friday, all your viewers have to do is go to RowOneHT.com. You'll go there, click on our contact button, and fill that out. Let us know that you watched tonight's episode, that you're a fan, you're a fanatic, and complete that form, and we will provide a free, no charge design, work with you, ask you all those technical questions: projector versus flat screen, screen size, distance, screen ratio, all of those technical questions, and we'll provide a free layout for all your listeners that would like to take advantage of that offer.
That is super awesome. Hi-Fi Haven, you can find out if those seats will fit your room or not, for real. And for everybody, I'll have that in the notes of the video down below. So you go down there, click on that. It'll take you right to the contact form, and you can fill that out. So I'll make sure that's down there for everybody. And man, thanks for that. I appreciate it. That's super cool.
Yeah, no, we're excited. We like I said, we really appreciate being invited to join your audience, Jiles, tonight. And if people would love to know where they can purchase our seats too, we have a multitude of locations. We've got retail partners with Best Buy as our largest retail partner. That gives consumers the opportunity to, in over 152 different locations across the U.S., to purchase our products. Audio Advice is a big retail partner of ours. They're located in North Carolina, but ship nationwide. And then we have over 125 other national retailers across the U.S. where consumers are able to buy our product and, test drive it. Go look at those chairs, go through those features that we talked about. We want you to have an absolutely delightful experience in your home theater or media room, wherever that is. And, that's what it's all about. Because if we want you to come back when we come up with our next Cortez, or stay tuned for our next products, because, just like your cell phones, right? You got to get that new phone every couple of years, right?
Right on. You got to swap those seats out, man.
You got to swap those seats out. That's right. Right.
So now on for Best Buy, I assume that would be in the Magnolia stores.
Yes.
Is that available on their website?
And it is available on their website. Yes, exactly. Awesome. And we do all the fulfillment right out of our warehouses. I'm delighted to tell your viewers there's amazing logistical challenges happening, but we have something in stock at all times. We're going to be able to help you out with the configurations, and we're excited to be able to focus on that passionately and make sure that that we can get our product to consumers in a timely way.
That's awesome, and I'll make sure to have links down to Best Buy so people can go check out the pricing and that kind of stuff. I'm an affiliate with Best Buy, so if you want to buy the seats, it's best that you purchase through Best Buy with the link that I provide. Just letting everybody know. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that they were for sale on the website. That's super cool and super convenient. But I would, if for folks that live close enough to a Magnolia that has them in stock where you can go actually check them out, man, that's really, really cool. And, everybody knows Best Buy. That's a really amazing location and partner to have to work with as a sales channel for your product. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, we believe it's super important for there to be retail channels across the country. Those retail channels are providing local jobs, helping your local economy. And, we're excited to be able to support them and hope that they stay around, because furniture is one of those things. Seating, it's particular. All those things we talked about really make a difference. And we find that consumers still want to have a place where they can go and sit in the chairs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. With that, it's time for us to move on to the third segment of the show. And that is Content Corner. Now let's take a break and stroll down to a cozy little place I like to call Content Corner. This is where we talk about all the cool content we love to consume. And today's focus is Dune. And joining us, we have a special guest. The one, the only, the miggity Mike of Audio Architects. Welcome to the show, Mike.
What's going on, guys?
Nice to see you, Mike.
Todd, Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Todd, can I tell you something?
Yes.
I've been observing from backstage. You look just like Anthony Bourdain. Has anybody told you that?
I have not gotten Anthony Bourdain. I have gotten someone from the Friends show. I've gotten that before. So there we go. So now I will add Anthony Bourdain onto that. It must be that grain effect that's going on.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. But anyway, Mike, welcome. And, I chatted a little bit with Todd beforehand, and he is fresh off of a double feature, James Bond and Dune. Dude, what a wonderful time to be alive. Right. And let's start the round robin about Dune. And we'll start with Todd, because I think, people have heard from you and me a little bit, Mike. But Todd, we're putting you on the spot, man. What did you think about Dune? Don't get this wrong.
Fantastic.
All right.
Fantastic. So, if you are anything of a Star Wars fan like myself, you're gonna love this movie. The actor portrayals. I didn't know that there was a part 1 and part 2 until the movie started. So one of the viewers said, no spoilers, please. So that's the only spoiler I'll put out there. I'm putting some spoilers out there.
Sorry. You need to la yourself right now, because we're going to get into it.
So yeah, go and see it, because it is fantastic. Incredible cinematography. Takes some incredible advantage of the sound work that was done, and the use of the video cinematography was amazing.
Right on. So, Mike, what's your impression now that you've had a few days to think about it since, I guess, last Thursday? So we're about 4 days in.
Kind of mull it over, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. There's two kinds of people. The people that know the property from either the previous movie or the books or the video games, or, there's so much stuff that was created in the, 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s about Dune that many of the new generation may not know about. So there's that, and there's people that don't know anything about it. They're like, hey, brand new, just wanted to check it out, So I think both parties can enjoy this movie, because I think it harkens back enough to the book and to the old stuff to where there's a lot of nostalgia there for them. And it's just an entertaining flick. It had great action, a great storyline, great acting. After thinking about it, though, I did feel, and it's unfortunate, spoiler alert, it's unfortunate that he won't be probably returning, but Jason Momoa kind of carried it throughout. He was kind of a big deal there, but I don't have any qualms with it. I know Jiles had a few when we did our live stream, like right when we got home, he had a few concerns about it. Just small little things like the bull thing. Remember, Giles,
Oh
how
yeah, yeah. They brought the Leto the First reference out
yeah,
so many
which
times. I
I
don't know
I don't
why.
know. I don't know if that's going to play a part or have something to do in the second one. But the thing I'm really excited about is that they have renewed it for a second one, and it has the date of October 2023. So we have to wait 2 years, guys.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, we waited, I think, 5 years for the new Bond film to come out
Right.
after, right? So 2 years isn't so bad.
So
Wait,
let's
was
think real quick.
Skyfall the last Bond film?
Yeah, previous to, yes. Yeah, it was.
Or am I missing? No, I think I'm missing one. It was Skyfall, then
No,
this one.
the first one was Casino Royale,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Okay.
I don't know. There was
No,
Skyfall.
I think there was one after Skyfall, and then this was the other one after
This is
that.
the fourth one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Skyfall. I felt the
Spectre. There we go.
I felt
Yes.
Spectre was a little slow for me, but I think Skyfall was probably. I haven't seen the newest one, obviously, but I'm excited to see it. So I'm sure you could tell us all about it. I mean, I don't really mind the spoilers. I mean, to be honest, we saw so many previews about it before we watched Dune. I felt like I've already seen it.
Well, you know the story. So for me, I've mulled this over a little bit more, right? And a lot of people, are bagging on. Okay, so there's a set of people that are like, oh, the sound mixing was too pretentious and blah blah blah, and it was too much. I thought it was all awesome, right? And I think this is going to be a movie that people use to demo sound for a long time. I think that there were dark scenes and people were like, why is it so dark? And I think that brought a lot of emotion, like the scene with the Gom Jabbar, right? When they had him put his hand inside the box, and what's inside the box? Pain, right? And she used the voice on him. I mean, that scene was amazing, and it's like it felt like I was in a horror movie right then, because there's this woman, she's got this thing on, it's dark, and you got to go in, and she's like, put your hand in the box, and I'm gonna kill you, and blah, blah. Oh my god! Just imagine if you were Paul Atreides, right? I mean. And then put your hand in, it feels like your hand's burning off, and she's like, this is if you're an animal or not. Blah, blah. It kind of gives me chill bumps. And I love the property. I've read almost all the books, including the new ones, right? Obviously all 5 or 6 of the old ones, and then there's 238,000 new ones out there now. Now one of the knocks that I had immediately after the movie was the casting of Jessica.
See, I disagree with you on that.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to reconsider that a little bit, and maybe it's not the casting I didn't like. I think it might have been the direction of her, because I felt like they had her filling the role of like a neophyte Bene Gesserit, right? Maybe like not a full sister, right? But I mean, if I remember correctly, man, maybe I remember this wrong, but in the book, she's a sister, Bene Gesserit, full blown. She's got all the powers and stuff. She's not like she might not be a Reverend Mother, but she's pretty kick-ass, and you see her kick-ass a lot later in the movie, right? Especially when they were prisoners on the I don't think they were in an ornithopter, so whatever the bigger ship was called. And she uses the voices on those guys and just kicks their butts. So I felt like she was a little meek. Now, if you go back to the Gom Jabbar scene, she's outside and she's obviously freaking out. And in my head, I had been like, oh man, why is she so weak? But thinking about it, she knows that her child is there, right? And there's a good possibility that he's about to die, and he hears him screaming in pain. So I can, I was like, why is she going through the litany against fear here? But it kind of makes sense now that I think about it a little bit more.
Just think of her on how they treated Anakin Skywalker. They always treated him as not a master and not this, not that, even though he was a powerful Jedi. I think they did. I'm pretty sure from the last movie, in the last movie, they gave her more of a regal feel to her. This one, she was more, I don't know what a good word to use is.
Oh, you're right. In the other movie, she was definitely
Yeah,
a lot
more
more
elegant,
cosmopolitan,
more
elegant. Yeah,
elegant. Yeah, and in this one, she was more kind
girl
of
next door almost.
edgy, a little rugged. Didn't mind getting her hands dirty with Paul. So I liked her. I liked that actress, and I really did enjoy her performance. I think Joey kind of hit it there, and so did Draw the Line 35. He hit it there too. I think she did a good job, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, and I agree. So, Draw the Line 35 points out something that is interesting. So, this is obviously an adaptation of a book to the screen, and it's almost impossible, I think, to adapt this book to the screen. It's just it's impossible. When you read the book, you have to keep going back to the appendix to look and see what all these things are, so you can figure it out. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's not even touched on. Hopefully there'll be the 4-hour extra long director's cut where they get into more of the stuff, because there's a ton of footage that didn't make it from what I understand. But the first movie heavily depended on exposition to kind of fill you in on this backstory stuff, right? So if you remember at the beginning, they've got Princess Ireland, and she's talking, and she doesn't even make an appearance in this movie, and nor does the emperor, the Padishah emperor, what I can't remember exactly. So there's just so much story that they still have to go through. Now, most of the characters died, so they don't have to bring a lot back. But Chani obviously is going to be a really big deal in part 2. And if anybody's read the book, you know why. And then what's the daughter's name? Alia, is that it? Alia?
The daughter?
Yeah, Jessica's pregnant.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember. Well, here's a question for you, Giles.
She is bar none the most badass character in any book ever, movie, anything. And if they do this child correctly in the next movie, I'm going to absolutely lose my business, because it is such a cool character. She's like a full-blown powerful Bene Gesserit in the womb. I mean, and she comes out and she's like walking and talking, and she's like super powered and ready to roll. And she's all melanged up already in the womb too, so she's born with blue eyes.
Question for you, Giles, because you've read the books. They're calling him a name, but I thought his name was Muad'Dib, and they're calling him something different.
No, so his name is Paul Atreides.
Originally, yes.
Well, Muad'Dib is a title, if I remember correctly. That's so the Bene Gesserit came to, because you remember they said that they had set the stage for him to come. So they've done social engineering on the planet. So they've been there for a very long time, and they have created all these prophecies that weren't real. They just made it up, and then they kind of baked it into the Fremen kind of religion, so to speak, of a savior, so to speak, that's going to come, and they call that Muad'Dib. The Kwisatz Haderach, that's the term for the super powerful mind. That's the culmination of the breeding project of the Bene Gesserit sisters over the last many thousands of years. So Muad'Dib is, I believe is the title that they've given to their prophesized savior that'll come.
And I love the way in the storyline, because you weren't sure if he was going to accept the role, right?
Yeah. That's big in the book too.
And so you see that they just did a wonderful job of walking that, not running it to the process of where towards the end, he accepts that duel, which was fantastic for him to show and affirm that he was ready to take on that role, and it'll be exciting to see how it grows in the same way that, as you mentioned, with Anakin Skywalker and the Star Wars parallels, we weren't sure what Anakin was going to do, right? So it'll be exciting to see how that develops in part 2. So,
well, and I don't want to give anything else away about part 2, but Chani is related to a certain character. However, can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, so Chani is the daughter of Liet Kynes, but Liet Kynes got a little gender bended in this adaptation, because in canon, Leah Kynes is male, and he had a full Fremen wife, correct?
I believe so. Yeah, and the whole Leah Kynes thing was, I mean, they glossed over that character
They really did.
completely.
And
Completely.
it was such a pivotal character to the to all the stuff that happened on Arrakis, like all the plants and all that. It was all her, him, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
and if you think about it, the Fremen, they don't like outsiders, so they accepted Leah Kynes, who was the Empire's ecologist or whatever, right? The
Right.
Imperial ecologist, and how. So yeah, it's that all that stuff is gone, and obviously they have to cut stuff to make it functional on television. But I'm hoping that there's more about that character in the longer cut that I expect them to release.
They have to do the Snyder cut. They have to.
Yeah, dude, I will pay a lot of money to see that.
Well, what's his name? Jason Momoa is really pushing for, or was pushing for it, because he felt that there was a lot of pivotal stuff they left out.
Yeah,
so.
Totally. And then T. Town Scott says, "No, Howitt. I'm not. What are you? Oh, you're talking about the Mentat stuff, right?
Yeah,
they didn't talk about how he's a Mentat. Yeah, they only gave that one really good scene, and if you don't know, then you wouldn't know. So if you remember when Leto II says, how much would it cost for them to send this Imperial set of people to do this announcement here, and you see his eyes roll up in his head, and then they come back down, and he's all like 142,336,000, whatever they are. So here's what you might not know. So if you're not a Dune aficionado, if you're not read the books, and you don't know what's going on, if you think about the movie that you saw, there's one thing that you won't see in the movie at all, and that's a computer. Right? So they have technology, but they don't have any computers. So they don't have anything that can think or approach the capabilities of being a thinking machine. So, all the piloting is done by hand, right? They didn't talk about it, but the big ships that travel interstellar space, you have to have navigators that use the melange to be able to navigate and move the ships. The big ships don't even have propulsion, right? But there are no computers, and that's because there was a big Terminator thing that happened way back when in the book's history, and there was the machine war of the sentient machines versus humans, and humans almost got wiped out. So it's kind of cool, and the reason that I'm talking about that is that Howitt Thufir is a Mentat, and a Mentat is the human equivalent of a computer. So they use the melange to supplement their mental powers so that they can do these high-level calculations that otherwise would be impossible.
I think it would be kind of cool to have a movie about the prequels.
I think it would be cool to have a whole set of movies that cover everything. Dude, I would be so down. All the books. I don't know how they would do like God Emperor of Dune and stuff, like when Paul turns into a sandworm and all this stuff. I don't how do you put that on the screen? I don't know, but it would be really awesome.
Yeah.
So he turns into a sandworm, just FYI.
About
this movie.
Right there. About those sofas, I'm digging your chairs, bud.
Thank you.
I finally convinced the missus to allow me to start looking into some kind of theater seating, but she wants it like that because she likes to lay across, right?
Yeah.
So I know the ones Jiles has in his theater have a thing in the middle that prevent an arm, yeah, like a
removable arm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have it in the middle. So yeah, she wants something like that, just maybe a little bit wider, that instead of what we have right here, because this thing is like Giles sat in it. It's like you sit in the middle and you just sink down. It's like not comfy, and it doesn't have cup holders. I want cup holders.
Right. I mean, our cars have had cup holders for like what 22 years now. I mean, right? So we're working on it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Be happy to help. And I want to go back, Giles, for a second. You talked about the dark scenes, right? And people complaining about that, and it reminded me like of Game of Thrones a little bit, because a lot of people were talking about that. And I think that's the beauty that gets lost when it comes to home theater technology evolving, with the sound and the ability to the changing technology to draw the light into dark places that we couldn't do 15 years ago. And so I love that the directors are exploring that, and the way that they recounted the sound format to take care of like Dolby Atmos capability in home theaters, right? I mean, so as much as people complain, if our phones stayed the same, what fun would that be, right? If we all still had iPhone 5s, would we be running to upgrade our capabilities in our home theaters? Probably not. So I loved that we have the capability to give directors that broader palette or painting, that they didn't have that ability to do, and to create sound in ways that they couldn't do 10 years ago.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Todd, I did genuinely feel that Game of Thrones was a bit too dark in certain scenes. Not in the whole grand scheme of things. I thought it was very well done. One of my favorite shows of all time. But yeah, certain scenes like when John finds out who his real mother is, the dungeon scenes, and then that whole last battle, it was a bit dark, but I think you hit it. Like, it was supposed to have that mood to it, that moodiness. So it didn't bother me too much, but I didn't notice it in Dune at all. I don't know what people are talking about. I think people just like to complain because it's the cool thing to do nowadays. So that's pretty much it.
So one comment that's a little bit out of Dune, but since we're talking about other stuff now, November 19th.
Ghostbusters.
Better.
There's nothing better. There's nothing better.
It's a television show.
A television show.
Like another season starting?
There's a new show that is super iconic in the world of fantasy. I'm just wondering if anybody can guess. Mike, you've mentioned it before, I think.
Oh, the Game of Thrones prequels. The dragon one.
Well, that's coming too, but I don't think it's not. I think that's not until next year sometime.
I think it's gonna be really good.
The Wheel of Time.
The Wheel of Time.
Robert Jordan.
I've never mentioned that.
If you look behind me, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 19 books in the set or whatever. Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time. Okay, so T. Town Scott just made me super sad.
What happened to Shannara Chronicles?
That show, well, what happened was they turned it into a friggin' WB show that had a whole bunch of super attractive 21-year-olds that were all emo.
I loved it. I love that show. That show was awesome. I have the show on Blu-ray. So if you ever want to watch it, Jiles, with me, you can come over and we can eat popcorn and watch the show.
Yeah, you have to eat popcorn with it because it's a popcorn show. I've got all the books over here for the Shannara series. I can tell you right now that the show did not do.
Well, personally, Eritrea was my favorite. I thought it was very well casted and very well done.
Yeah, so Sword of Shannara, Elf Stones of Shannara. Well, let's see. There's the sword. There's Scions, Druids, Elf Queen, First King, Gerald. I mean, there's it's like two shelves. The series. He's been writing this for a long time. He's milking that cash cow. But
I agree with you though. I did feel it could have been done better. It could have been more of like a Game of Thrones type thing.
That's what I wanted it to be so badly.
Oh, dude, what about the show? I don't know, Todd, if you've seen this show. It's with what's his name? Orlando Bloom. It's a new show with the fairies. What's it called? Hold on. Carnival Row. So Carnival Row was, I think, approved for a second season, but I don't know when it's going to come out.
That's a HBO or Showtime, right? Showtime?
I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, where's it streaming? Or
Amazon Prime. It's an Amazon Prime show.
Okay.
Right.
Carnival Row. It has a very reminiscent feel of kind of Game of Thrones ish, but it's very, very intriguing.
It's steampunk, right?
No, kind of.
It's like Victorian era kind of costumes and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's really, really intense. Carnival Row season 2 release date 2021. I don't know if they approve. I don't know if it's going to be a thing. Yeah, it is steampunk TV series. Okay.
I know my fantasy genres.
Yeah, I hope they do another season of that because they kind of left it in a real cliffhanger. But yeah, man. Well, Ghostbusters, guys, come on. Who's with
Yeah, dude, I'm just waiting. They need to bring it on.
It's coming. It's in the previews. They showed previews in the theater when we saw Bond. So it's definitely coming up.
It's coming next month. And the thing I'm very disappointed about is that they're not going to have a soundtrack for it. They're not really. Yeah,
they're going to release
they're going to release the score, but they're not going to release a. And this was something that was very popular. If you remember, Ghostbusters 1 and 2 both had their soundtracks with Ray Parker Jr. and Bobby Brown in the second one, and all those hip hop artists that were really popular in the 90s. So they were kind of known for their cool, hip soundtracks, and for them to find out through online that they were not going to be doing a soundtrack, it's just going to be a score. I just hope the score is good, but I don't know. That kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that, but I think there'll be more in the property down the line. I don't think this is the end for Ghostbusters.
Not if it's done right, and I think it is.
It looks good. I'm not sad. So again, T. Townscott continues to make me sad with his comments because he says he's looking forward to Expanse season 6. I am as well, very much so. It's my it's tied. Well, no, it's still my favorite sci-fi show that's out right now. Foundation's really good though, but I still like this better than Foundation. But there's only going to be like 6 episodes in series 6 or season 6, and then it's done. It's not picked up by anybody,
right?
And that could be the end. And if you can make it past season 1 and get into season 2, is so good.
It was a little too slow for me, dude.
Yeah, you just got to get past season 1. Once you get past that, it's just, dude, it is so good.
Right now, I'm actually plowing through Breaking Bad. I've never watched it before.
Oh, it's a good show,
and I'm loving it. I think we're wrapping up season 2 now, so we're kind of getting close to the end of season 2. Love that show. So hopefully I'll be able to power through that and watch The Expanse and see what you're.
Yeah, I'm getting a new playlist going tonight. So
you gotta watch us for a content corner. We go over all the good stuff. So you're talking about new good stuff. If people aren't watching Foundation, they need to go watch Foundation right now. And if people want to break from sci-fi, I started watching The Morning Show, and it's on season 2, actively releasing episodes right now for season 2. That's interesting. It's got Jennifer Aniston and I can't think of the
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
Right.
And it's a very interesting. It's totally outside of the genres that we usually talk about, but it's pretty good. Shadow and Bone has finished the season a while back, and that was pretty good. If you're into that stuff, it's fantasy-ish kind of setting. Invasion is coming out on Apple TV, and that one looks pretty good. And then there's the new movie with I think it's Tom Hanks, and it's like a post-apocalyptic thing, and he's like one of the last people alive on the planet, and it's him and a dog, and he builds a robot.
Kind of like Castaway.
Yeah, kind of like yeah. He's typecast now. There can only be one. So that looks pretty good. But man,
I'm just trying to find the name of it.
You gotta watch Foundation though. I mean that looks so good.
If you're a Jason Momoa fan, season 2 was fantastic.
You've seen it? It was good.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So what's his name is Baba Yoga? No, what is it?
Baba. Well, I always said Baba Ganoush, but it's not that either.
Yeah, it's something like that. Anyway, he faces off against that other big dude, right?
His brother, who is also in Dune. So
they're both in Dune as well.
They're both in Dune. Yeah. Yes.
Huh.
They are not brothers like they are in
Right.
C. But yeah. That actor.
That's awesome. And for folks out there, if you liked him playing Duncan Idaho, apparently Frank Herbert liked Duncan Idaho as well, because he comes back in like every freaking book. You can't kill him. Well, you can, but they just keep making more. So spoiler for books down the line, you get to have your Duncan Idaho back. So that's why I'm all like, I want them to do all these other books, because Jason Momoa gets to come back in all of them many, many times. It's really cool. I mean, spanning thousands of years in time, Duncan Idaho is always there.
Giles, Finch. It's called Finch. The movie with Tom Hanks.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
Finch,
cool.
For those that were interested in that. I'm going to check that out, because Apple TV seems to have a lot of cool stuff that I'm missing out on. Now, can I get Apple TV on my NVIDIA Shield or Amazon Fire Stick?
Anything. It's just another app, just like
Netflix. I see. I thought I had to have that, because you know how Apple is sometimes. They're very proprietary with their crap. Yeah. So I thought I had to have an actual Apple TV.
We watch it on the Shield all the time.
Okay, cool.
And I watch it on Hulu. So
right on.
Speaking of Hulu, I don't know if you guys are into doctor shows, but there's 2 doctor shows I watch on Hulu religiously. It's The Good Doctor and New Amsterdam. Both are phenomenal doctor shows. The Good Doctor is actually very intriguing, because it's a doctor that has autism, you know, but he also has, what's it called? Savant syndrome. So he's a surgeon and everything, but he has a huge issue with communication, and it's a really interesting show. I'd recommend that for you guys. Todd, write it down for your playlist for tonight.
Yeah. So I've watched all but the most recent season of The Good Doctor, and I like it. I like it a lot. But I've never seen New Amsterdam before.
New Amsterdam's very good. It's I don't know if you guys watch The Blacklist.
I've watched the first 3 seasons.
Early seasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tom Keane, her husband. That's the guy that plays the main character in New Amsterdam. I think he's great.
The Blacklist is still going.
I know, without those 2, so it's just.
Oh, are they gone? See, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's just James Spader, because what's her face didn't want to come back to do the show. I think she was just moving forward with her life. So I don't know.
And do you guys remember there was a show that came out at the same time as The Blacklist, and it's probably been canceled by this point, but it was a lady that had been something happened to her, and she woke up like naked, covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
And the tattoos were like the hints to.
Yeah, and the FBI was helping her, and he was.
Yeah, they would like predict events that were coming in the future.
Her name was Jane Doe.
Yeah, did that get canceled?
Tip of the tongue.
It's gone. Yeah, it's not on anymore.
Come on, viewers, you guys out there should know what this is. Somebody.
They finished it. I watched the season finale.
Okay, so the series finale.
Series finale. Yeah.
Okay, so they figured out what happened and solved the mystery.
I can't remember. I know her brother was like a big part of it, and they were fighting against this terrorist cell, and she was part of that, and it was a bunch of weird stuff. God, what was it called?
Yeah. So if they actually finish it and gave it a good ending, I want to go back and watch it. But if not, then I don't want to, because I don't want to have like a Dollhouse happen. Did you guys ever watch Dollhouse?
No.
Oh, so Dollhouse was really, really
Blind Spot.
Blind Spot. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
thank you, Mike.
Dollhouse was really good. It's like super old, and it came out like when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was ending. And
nothing wrong with Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Elijah Dooku, or whatever her name was.
Oh yes, that was my childhood crush.
She went and was featured in that show, and it was amazing, because the whole premise was they could take people's consciousness and move from person to person. Right, from body to body. So if I wanted to have this other person's body, I just kidnap him, stick him in this machine, and they can put my consciousness in him, and then my other body's consciousness, it's just a dead body or whatever, right? But so, people didn't have to die, because they could keep jumping body to body. they would use her and put her consciousness like in different bodies to do these different things, and they used her like as an assassin and all this kind of stuff, and it was a very interesting plot. But then when they had to finish the show, I think like halfway through filming a season, they're all like, oh, by the way, this is it, so you need to finish the show in your next 5 episodes. And then, like they did a time jump and all this stuff, and they were able to finish it, but it wasn't like the super satisfying ending that I wanted. So I always look back at that one. It's kind of like Jericho, if you remember that show, and the other space cowboy TV show that was so awesome with the brown coats and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about? No.
Mm-mm.
Todd, have you watched You?
No, I've not watched that.
We just
EWE, like the baby goat or
YOU.
YOU. It's a really interesting show. Like,
what's it about, Mike?
Where's it at? Well, where's it show?
Tell us about how you love it.
It's on Netflix. Well, it's in its 3rd season, and to be honest, I was kind of the season 1 and season 2 were for me like 5 out of 5. 3rd season was like a 3 out of 5, only because the guy kind of lost his edge. Like, he's this killer, right? He obsesses over these women and he kills them, but they write his character so well that you're kind of rooting for him at the same time. You feel bad.
Sounds like a character you wouldn't want to root for.
Right, but you're kind of like, God, cut him a break kind of thing, because
like Dexter,
kind of the people he kills, a lot of them, you're not disappointed that
they needed
them.
some killing.
Yeah, they needed some killing. So, but some of them, it's like, oh God, like, why did you do that, bro? But
certainly the appropriate month for that show.
Right.
Right.
Well, it's so well written, though. I thought it was very well written and very well casted. So, yeah, that's definitely been a huge show. What about this Squid Game? I haven't watched that yet. Jiles, have you watched that?
No, my wife has watched it all, and she loved it, and she also said it was horrible at the same time.
Really?
Yeah. It's a lot of. She's like, only one character survives by the end of the show. They all die, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. So I haven't seen it though.
I've not seen it either. My youngest has seen it and loved it. So I'm feeling like it could be a millennial demographic like love of the show. But I'm intrigued. But again, yeah, everybody dies except one, and I'm not sure who's the hero in the end of that. So
yeah, is there a hero? He wins all the money though. Apparently, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's a cruel twist of fate at the end. And talking about cruel twists of fate, I think we're now going to move into the closing section of the show now, as that we're a little bit over. This is and Todd, this is the cleanup section, and this is where we talk a little bit about the upcoming events on our channels, and if our guest has anything new coming up. So Mike, let's start with you. We'll do Todd, and then I'll close out the show. Anything new in Audio Architects World coming up soon?
You guys are going to have to subscribe and wait and see, because I do have a lot of crazy stuff coming up, and some new reviews. My Aperion Audio review of the Concert Towers, which I gave them the Applause Award on behalf of StereoNet, because I do write for StereoNet as an aside to Audio Architects. But that just got published and released.
I saw that come out
today. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Aperion, got a phone call from them earlier, and they were super stoked about it, because they didn't know they were winning the Applause Award, and I didn't tell them until today. So I thought that was
awesome.
I thought that was pretty cool. But aside from that, I've just been working on getting this little audiophile t-shirt boutique going on my website. So if you guys are into audiophile related t-shirts, I'm going to be releasing a bunch new, more different kinds of designs. This is not one of them, but a bunch of different designs.
Where's your shirt at, man? You're wearing somebody else's
stuff.
stuff.
I know. I'm wearing my old work shirt, but yeah, I got that. Just go to audioarchitects.com. Giles, I'm sure we'll put a link in the description below.
I think there might be a link already. I'll make sure it's there if it's not.
And if you haven't bought some of these couches right there, I think you guys should go to RowOne and buy some couches.
No, they should go to Best Buy with the link that I'll provide and purchase them.
Oh God.
Yeah. Affiliate links for the win.
I'll send you guys straight to RowOne. Don't worry on my end.
All right. Todd, anything new to announce from your point of view? Anything people need to look at? Anything you want to know?
Yeah, I just think maybe a couple things. Number one, please take advantage of our holiday treat offer to all your listeners tonight. I'm excited, and I hope that a lot of people will take advantage of that and just give us a chance to get to know you and your dream home theater design, and we'll do what we can. And then second thing is we're just going to be continuing a new blog series that we've started about 3 weeks ago. We've got our blogs posted on the website, RowOneHT.com. Check those out. Those are kind of like a continuation of the storyline of, why, what should be important when it comes to seating. And we always love, viewer feedback. So, hit the contact form, let us know what else you'd like to see. And Jiles, I've taken note of your requests, and there might be something, so please let us know how we can help out. So that would be it. Just a couple things, man. Thanks again for having us on the show tonight.
Oh no, glad.
Yeah,
glad
Todd, it was really nice meeting you, and I hope we get to connect as well.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, and then the final announcement of the show, December 14th. It's time again for the Home Theater Fanatics Holiday Spectacular Giveaway Stream. And I've been working behind the scenes to get this set up. And at this point, we have sponsorship from Axpona, Alcons, One More, Puro, me, Mike, GSG Audio, Kaleidoscape, Kef, SVS, Stark Sound, X Duo, Aperion Audio, THX, Sound Vision Technology, Per Listen, Pangea, and Hi-Fi Man. So all of those companies are going to be contributing some kind of goodie to be given away. And, at this point, we've got everything from, 18-inch subwoofer drivers to subwoofer kits to a pair of powered tower speakers from Stark Sound. We got passes for Axpona. Alcons Audio is giving away Amazon shopping sprees of different denominations. We've got a pair of headphones and some IEMs. Kaleidoscape is giving away their most awesome coasters.
Yes, the coasters again.
The coasters.
I have one. Thank you very much.
I've got a set too, and I have them on my desk. And it's funny, but I use them all the time. I guess it's kind of hard for them to give away one of their $7,000
movie
entry level players, right?
I would prefer that to a coaster, though. I mean,
yeah, there's a disparity there. THX is going to give away one of their new Onyx DACs. And a Razer headset, gaming THX certified headset. Per Listen said that I don't know what they're doing yet. Pangea, don't know what they're doing. Hi-Fi Man, I assume it's going to be some kind of headphone, but I don't know for sure.
Now you're just being presumptuous, Giles.
Yeah, I'm being presumptuous. Kef, I don't know yet what Kef's doing. Aperion Audio said they would either do super tweeters or a coffee mug.
Ooh, you got it.
Two.
I would
knows?
I would negotiate and see if they'll do like an Alaire.
Somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Alaire would be, I think, cooler, but you know what? From my point of view, I'm happy for people to contribute at any level they want to and participate however they want. T-shirts are great, or $10,000 pieces of audio equipment. Those are great too. I'm just happy that we're up to, I think that was 19 different companies that are participating, and I've got requests out to another 100 companies. So we'll see what my conversion rate on this is. But some of these folks have been supporters of the channel for quite a while now. So I'm very appreciative of them, coming out, and some of them will be on the stream, and some of the others are just like, no, I'm asleep. It's too late, and I'm on vacation on December 15th. So just give it away, get it right. Red Hot Chili Peppers, right?
Yeah. Give it away. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that's my big announcement. That's going to be on, and I will. It'll be a gleam.io sign up for the giveaway. I'll put that link down below. The details are still sketchy right now on all the prizes, but there's enough information to get going. And I know that Mike has like 2,000 entries already in there as he's helping.
I've been clicking all these entries, so I'm definitely gonna win something. You know what's funny? It'd be funny if I win my own prize that I'm giving away.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just gonna give away one of the T-shirts from the website, and you guys can pick out which one, what size, what color, and I'll ship it out to you guys.
Dude, I like the dog with the headphones one.
That's my dog. He's right over there.
I think that's my favorite one.
He's like, watch, come here, boy, come here.
Nice. This is a massive dog. He's just
here he comes. Come on. Come here. Look at the screen. He's shy. Come here. Look at the screen. Hey. He wants to get scratched.
Now slowly raise your hand up and see if you can make his head follow.
Come on. Here
there it is.
Oh.
He's a Cane Corso. He's Italian Mastiff. He's a big boy.
God, he looks just like you.
I know, but he's the one with the headphones on the shirt. I took a picture of him and had a designer
put the headphones on him.
Yeah, put the headphones on him, and my girlfriend's like, why did you use the picture when he has like a stupid look on his face? Because he does give us like a dumb look. He'll like raise one eyebrow and just give us this look, and I'm like, because that's the best look, I mean, he's got his arm on me and I'm scratching him right now.
All right. We're going to call it. Todd, thank you so much for your time. I know you hung around for an extra 30 minutes beyond the show's length. So, like I tell everybody, time is valuable, and I appreciate it when people choose to spend their time here with me and the viewers and everyone else. So thank you so much, Mike, Todd, and everybody out in the audience. It's an honor to have you guys here with us.
Dude, Jiles, you're a gem for doing this, and I hope you continue doing this forever. And I will always be your content corner compadre.
I appreciate that. Awesome.
And so will Zoltan. He'll be here with us in spirit as well.
Right on.
Zoltan.
All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Todd.